Why I'm starting over at 52. Hi guys, welcome to this video. So if you've seen any of the previous videos on my channel, then you'll know that I was a freelance writer who was being paid to write articles and emails for a couple of clients over the last few years, and AI has put a stop to that. So my last two clients recently have started using AI to create their products and their emails and their articles, which basically meant I became redundant. Now, one of the clients it was part retirement. They were at an age where they were trying to slow down. So they were streamlining, cutting people back. And so they decided that they no longer needed my services, but they are now using AI to create products. I used to create products for them, or some of them, and I would have happily carried on making more, but they wanted to cut back. And now they're just using, from what I can see, looking at the types of products that they're releasing, they're using AI to generate these products. They're going to AI saying, I wanted to write about this subject, can you? And so AI is creating these books, ebooks, these digital downloads, which they're selling for extortionate prices. And it does look like it's AI, and it is pretty poor in many ways. And then the other client who I used to write articles and emails for, he now is using Claude to write them. He's created a database of ideas and stories and things that he's created this database so that Claude can look at and write emails and articles in his style, which I used to do. And AI has basically taken that away from me, so that I'm now redundant from being a freelance writer. Bit of a kick in the teeth that this morning I received an email from one of the people, and it was an email that was in the system that I wrote and I can remember writing. And so here I am now trying to record this video talking about how I've been replaced by AI, and the email that came in from one of the clients was one that I wrote, which is is quite a strange feeling. So anyway, I'm starting over at 52. I am really no longer a freelance writer. I thought I had left the building trade. I was working as a carpenter for many years, on and off, and I was working as a maintenance man in a factory. I've done all sorts over the years, but I got into the publishing and information business, working for people, working for some of the biggest sort of direct mail, independent marketers or marketeers, whatever you want to call them, here in the UK, these companies selling information products. I thought I would be writing for people basically till I was retiring, if not until I'd replaced them with my own business. But with the circumstances where I hadn't been able to start or really work on my own business, I was putting these two clients and working on those, and other circumstances, moving back from Portugal, and there was a lot of other things going on in the background, which basically meant I hadn't built up my own business as I was hoping I would do. But then again, I did think I was going to be working as a freelance writer. At the end of the day, I would have been sort of safe until my retirement. But then AI, as I say, has put a stop to that. It's come along. It has taken those opportunities away from me. Now, one of the clients asked me if I was going to look for the work or how I was looking for the work. And part of me thinks, well, what's the point looking for work? Because these two companies, which are making or have made lots of money using the written word, are now using AI. So if the written word is it's the base of their business, it is the backbone of their business, the written word. They write sales letters, they write emails, they write articles, they write reports. They've expanded into video on some projects, but the written word was the backbone of their business. If they're now using AI to replace people like me, then so will every other company. And those that haven't yet will soon start using AI. So it kind of seems pointless looking for writing work. Maybe look for one or two just to sort of tide me over. But I mean, really, it seems a bit of a pointless idea. So I'm starting over at 52. I am effectively unemployed or redundant from being a freelance writer. So I'm doing a few projects at the moment. But now for me, the biggest project is going to be working on YouTube, creating videos. I've done videos before. I'm not particularly uncomfortable talking like this. I might be different if you were to stick a camera in front of my face and say it was live TV in front of millions. I'll probably clam up. A lot of the time I record videos like this, sometimes I mess up, and so especially at the first few minutes, if the first 2 or 3 minutes go wrong, I often delete and start again. But if not, I can record and then delete parts and edit sections out, which you might notice on a few of the videos. So I'm not feeling particularly uncomfortable being in front of the camera, as I'm here in the house on my own. There's no one around to hear me. I'm just talking to myself in an empty room, in an empty house. So I'm free to gabble on. So that's not a problem. And with videos on, say, YouTube or social media, once you made them and publish them, then effectively you can walk away and ignore them. It's not an issue. If someone in Scotland or someone in Wales or someone in Northern Ireland, someone in Australia, someone in America, if they're watching my videos and laughing, it means no difference to me. I don't feel the embarrassment. I don't have a problem because I'm not there. If they leave a nasty comment, which I'm sure I will get quite a few, because at the moment humanity seems to be all about trolling, then so be it. You got to be fairly thick-skinned about this, because trolls often, it says more about them than it does about you. And I've been at this business for quite a few years to know that you can't let these trolls and stuff like that stop you. So yeah, at 52, I'm starting over because it wasn't by choice. AI has taken away a lot of the opportunities for creatives. I mean, people who are going to university to learn graphic design, they're competing with AI. I saw a report saying that companies are no longer taking on graphic designers because while old graphic designers are probably retiring, they're not looking for new ones, because the ones that they've got are using AI to do the jobs of the people that have left. So they're not replacing people with new graphic designers. It's okay saying that you can learn to use AI and become a graphic designer who can use AI. It's just that the existing AI graphic designers are using AI and they're not replacing the people who have left. When those people leave, by that time, we will be at a state where AI is learned so fast and is so fast and so good and so better that they will need fewer staff anyway. And lots of companies are getting rid of their creatives, and it's been said many, many times by a lot of the AI companies. Now, a lot of this could be marketing. They've invested heavily into AI and they want people to invest and want people to buy their service and buy their product. So they could be overly egging the pudding by saying that if you don't use AI, you'll basically lose out to AI. And so they're trying to push people. Now, a lot of the creatives have lost a lot of the freelance creatives have lost their work because of AI, and that's what happened to me, which is why I'm starting over at 52. A lot of the creatives, though, can take things into their own hands, a bit like what I'm trying to do now, because we have the platforms, we have the tools. You can even use AI if you wish. I have used AI and I will use AI. I'm not the biggest AI fan, probably because I like writing, I like creating stories, or I like doing the videos. And yes, it is. I've used AI on videos for adverts or for some sort of marketing for one of the clients, and that was using Google Flow, where you created AI avatars to sit in front of a camera like this in a coffee shop and talk about something, and you put your prompt in and it creates, and it is pretty impressive. But at the same time, if you're a creative, it doesn't feel very creative. You just basically said, create me a video of a man in a coffee shop playing on a laptop doing this or saying this, and it does it for you. So it's not creative, it's just sort of like delegating. And so for a lot of the creative people, it can be quite tiresome and quite boring. So, but the creative people, you can use AI if you want to, and there are people who will do really well using AI, because I mean, it's got my head thinking, I must admit this, because I'm now focusing heavily on video and I'm going to focus heavily on YouTube. I like writing. I want to get back into fiction. I want to start writing more fiction. I want to do lots more stuff around writing. And I've been looking at AI and the AI tools as well that I've been playing around with. And I'm starting to see things or channel ideas for YouTube, for TikTok, for Facebook, for X. And I think, oh, that could be good. And it does give you that freedom of being able to create something that it would either take me years to master myself. So, for example, animation. If I wanted to do animation and learn animation, I've got to spend a lot of hours practicing drawing, practicing using the software. I could go to Google Flow, AI, ChatGPT, or Claude, and say, here's an image. I would like you to do some of this. Take that, make a prompt on like a database or an idea, and then go to Gemini Flow and say, can you do this, an 8-second video, this and this. So I'm seeing lots of ideas here that I could create faceless YouTube channels, faceless Facebook, TikTok channels, for reels and stuff like that. So there's a great opportunity there for some people. That is creative in a way, but it's not. So yeah, so there is that opportunity that AI tools will give you that. But yeah, so at 52, I'm starting over but it wasn't my choice. Now, there's a few things I'm working on. I'm doing, as I was a carpenter and a joiner in the building trade, I am also working alongside the good lady by creating stuff out of pallet furniture. We've just recently sold something to a woman in Scotland on Etsy. She was incredibly happy with that. So I do have a little workshop in the garden, which I am working on a few things, but I want to focus heavily on video. And so I've been using video as well on that. I've been recording myself in the workshop doing stuff, and then we're taking videos and photos of what we've created, generated videos. So I'm using a combination of sort of CapCut and Canva to create these videos, which then are going on social media. And this is why I am focusing heavily on YouTube. I want to focus heavily on YouTube. I want to focus heavily on video. So whether that'll be expanding to Facebook, TikTok and stuff like that, is because video is incredibly easy to create today. I mean, there is still time consuming elements to it, especially when you're doing things such as the woodworking. If I'm going to make something where I'm going to need to film myself on the sander, or I'm using the battery drill, so I've got to, you know, set the camera up, film myself, and then I'll probably record 10 pieces of footage while I'm making something. Then I've got to upload it to my laptop and then put it into CapCut and break it down. So those bits can be quite time consuming. These types of videos are different. And so with YouTube, you know, I am sat here talking to the camera. There may be some sort of editing. I may actually throw some images or graphics over the top once I get sort of editing it. But this is a simplistic form of video. And there are people who are doing a lot of these, simply just walking through towns or through woods, using their phones, they're talking to their phones, or they are using this new Meta Ray-Ban glasses, or these digital glasses, which, you know, you turn on and you can just sort of, you know, get a point of view. Whatever you're looking at, it will record. That does quite excite me, but at the same time, I'm interested to know where the law will go with that, because you're now starting to film people close up and put them onto social media in front of people without their consent. Now, certain countries won't allow that. I don't know what whether the law will change here in the UK, but for example, you could be, I was only thinking about this the other day, I was talking to my wife, and I'm going off a bit of a tangent here, but you could be walking down the street filming someone, and that film could actually have on there could be a woman shopping with a child. That woman was probably in an abusive relationship and tried to escape from an abusive partner, and so she fled from one town to another. She could be 200 miles away, protecting her child, protecting herself, and then suddenly she pops up on TikTok or something, and some guy could be there watching going, that's my wife, or someone could be saying, that's such and such's wife, I'll ring him and tell him. And so this could then be a bit of open up a can of worms. And so I don't really know where a lot of this public filming will go with these cameras and these glasses. It's exciting, but at the same time, there's these other things to be concerned with. I mean, social concerns. But that's nothing to do with this video. Sorry, I rambled on there. I think it's a very interesting point, because I'm seeing a lot of these videos at the moment on social media where people are being filmed without their consent and shared. They say you can film in a public space, but to what degree can you? Yeah, it is interesting. But yeah, so this video is it's going to be a short video. It's all about basically why I'm starting over at 52. And the long story short is that I'm starting over because AI has effectively taken away my position, or my freelancing writing career, my freelance writing business. Now, as I said before, it's given me the opportunity now to focus on my own. So we've got Substack, we've got Patreon, we've got YouTube, we've got Facebook. So I can write for myself. I do have a Substack newsletter, which I haven't done anything with just recently. I was going really heavy at it. But I think video is going to be a lot better, because A, is easier, and I'm actually knocking up more views with my videos than I am with sort of writing at the moment. So Substack is good. You can write your articles, and you can, the articles you can use as emails. I was also sharing them to Medium. Now, Medium, a few years ago, like lots of other people, I was making money on Medium. At one point, I was about to hit $1,000. This was for the company I was writing for, not for myself, but for this company. I nearly hit $1,000 per month in revenue through some of the articles that I was writing. And other people were making like thousands, tens of thousands of dollars a month. But then Medium got big, it decided it wanted more investors, and then once the investors got involved, obviously they got to pay the investors back, or the shareholders or whatever it was, and so then they cut the amount that people were making, and suddenly everybody's income dropped overnight again. So again, writers were suffering, publishers who were writing articles and making money from that, their income halved, if not got destroyed overnight. So a lot of people left the platform, and yeah, so I went from at one point nearly making $1,000 a month to, I don't think I made $10 recently in the last 6 months for my writing. Maybe the stuff that I write for myself is really crap, I don't know. Maybe that could be what it is. But yeah, so the world is changing, the internet is changing, information publishing is changing. There is a lot of stuff going on online, a lot of people being put out of work because of AI, which is why I'm starting over at the ripe old age of 52. And so yeah, I thought I'd just share that in this video. I hope you found it interesting. A lot of the other videos are not necessarily as self-indulgent, though. You'll talk more about YouTube, and that's what I want to focus on, is YouTube. I want you to come and join me and sort of build your YouTube channel, because people who are in the 50s, I think, are going to be fantastic for YouTube. It's a great opportunity. There's a lot of potential with YouTube, and you can reach out to lots of people. And I think if you've got a hobby, you've got a niche, or you know, something that you enjoy, a passion, YouTube is probably a great way to actually connect with and find other people and turn that hobby or that information into a business. Now, for me, I just want YouTube. Actually, I was going to say that's a lie. I was going to say I just want YouTube to pay my rent and bills, my living costs. But I want that from YouTube. I want to get into the partner program and YouTube earnings from AdSense, from the adverts that they show on the video, to pay my rent and living costs. I want to use YouTube as well as to build my business in other sections as well. As so it's not just that I want to make my rent and living costs from YouTube as a whole. I want YouTube to pay that. So I want to get into the partner program. I want to monetize my videos, and through the adverts, my goal is to get like £2,000 a month from that. And then I'm going to use YouTube, my videos, for other business and other ways to bring in money. But so yeah, why am I starting over at 52? Or, you know, the reason why I'm starting over at 52 is because of AI. AI took away my writing work, and that's it. That's long story short. So again, I hope you found this video interesting, useful, or at least entertaining, and or maybe help pass the time. But if you did, please click the like button, please click the subscribe button, and share it if you found it useful. You know, send it to anybody, or any of my videos you find useful, send them to people who you think I could help in any shape or form. And yeah, thank you for watching. I shall speak to you again in another video. So thanks, and cheers and goodbye.